Getting used to getting in and out. Oh, yeah.
Great ride. Cheated death again.
Cheated death.
Yeah.
Get a picture with these guys. Connor, we got the new generation and the old generation here.
This is quite a guy. He rode with me up there.
He rides with me all the time. He knows all the planes, inside and out.
I was a tail gunner on a B-17, flew out of Italy, the 15th Air Force, and I'm out here today and I got a ride and it was just like old days. I was the tail gunner, way in the back, and this is the model that I flew in. The navigator was way up front, and he's with me here, but we didn't fly in the same plane, but we just had the same experience, and it was great.
I flew with the 15th Air Force also out of Italy in a B-17G like this one. This was a great thrill always to take a ride. This is about the 20th or 25th time I've been up since World War II in a B-17.
My name's Vince Parker. I was a tail gunner on a B-17, and I flew 41 missions out of Italy in the 15th Air Force, and today's ride was magnificent. That same old feeling came back. All the power in those engines, they were fine-tuned, and it just was a great flight.
I'm Bob Clemens, and I was a navigator on a B-17 like that. And I flew out of Italy. I flew 50 missions out of Italy. And the flight today was great. It's a lot of fun to go back and fly in one of these, especially when you know you aren't going to be shot at.
And then they let go of those throttles, and down the runway we'd go. And then the 23rd saw them because of all that weight.
Yeah.
The plane was just as reluctant as we were to leave the ground.
Yeah.
Finally it would lift. And then we would form up. In combat, every 30 seconds a bomber would start down the runway. When the first one lifted off, the next one would start. And then we've assembled into wings and into squadrons and groups and so forth. And then fly north. In our case, in Italy, we flew north to bomb targets in southern Europe. 15th Air Force won the war. The 8th Air Force talks about it, right?
They call it the Mighty 8th. We always called us the Fighting 15th.
Right. So we're pretty, yeah.
We had about 1/3 the number of airplanes that the 8th did. Just to give you a little idea, I flew my missions between June 16th and September 12th in 1944. So I averaged about 17 a month. That's flying a little more than every other day. The target that that was probably the most feared that we bombed was Ploesti, Romania, where the Germans got about 50 to 60% of their oil, and they really defended that target. Now, I had 5 trips over Ploesti. Almost always you got ground fire damage.
We were afraid because we knew it was tough, and we lost some close buddies. But for some reason, there was patriotism. Nobody turned back. I didn't meet a guy on the ground or in my crew or the one next to me that refused to fly. They were there, and that was okay. But I didn't know of any.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
No. It was our duty and our responsibility, and we just.
Of course, they told us when we got there, if you quit flying and we find out you're bluffing, that there isn't something wrong with you, you'll go to Leavenworth and make little rocks out of big ones.
Okay, that's what kept you going.
the loyalty was fantastic.
And we were bonded. Bonding of brothers, you know, this movie and so forth. We were so close as a crew that many years, 40 years later, I found my crew again. I found 6 of them. And we met out at the airport that they were coming in. And I mean, we hugged like teddy bears and we were crying. And people thought, these guys are nuts. These old guys are in their 60s.
Gee, now it's 20 years later.
Yeah, and now it's 20 years. They're all gone now, but me.
You're the only one?
Yeah,
we got 3. We got the radio operator, the engineer, and myself.
Okay. Okay.